Welcome to the SBR Double Play. It's the NHL Play of the Day video for Tuesday, November the 12th. I'm Ian Cameron, joined by Adam Booth. We're back with you on this Tuesday card that is always stacked with games, stacked with options at our disposal from a betting perspective. That's why we always are excited to do these videos on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, because we know we have a wide array of games to choose from. It's like walking up to the buffet line and you got all this great food to choose from. That's how NHL
That's a great analogy, Ian. Yeah. That's a great analogy. I like that one.
Exactly, yeah. Adam. That's exactly how we feel on days like this, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, as we break down the NHL card. So both of us in profit. You know, if you combine what Adam and I have done here with these videos, you're looking at us being up over 5 units of profit combined on the season. So we'll take that. Again, this is a marathon, not a sprint. There's going to be peaks. There's going to be valleys for both of us throughout the course of the season with these plays. But the goal is to be in the plus side of the ledger when it's all said and done and we complete this NHL season. And so far, so good in that regard. We're going to do things a little differently today. Usually I let Adam have the floor first and give out his play. I'll do mine first today, just for a change.
You know, we're getting wild here, right? You know,
we're getting crazy.
Why don't we mix it up? Yeah.
We're getting a little bit crazy here. So I'll start with mine, and I've got the first game on the rotation order. That's the game I've selected for the play of the day for me on this Tuesday. It's the Florida Panthers taking on the Boston Bruins. We've got Boston, a sizable home favorite. Again, SBRodds.com. Make sure you're using SBRodds.com on a daily basis for all of your wagers. That way you know exactly the best line, the best price that is available with every bet that you're looking to get down on. It is so important because there's so many books or so many games where there will be a difference in the number or in the price from book to book, and making sure you get that extra, better price or get that extra half point when it's a spread that you're dealing with. That makes all the difference in the world. SBRodds.com will help you in that regard. We've got Boston minus 160. Minus 165 home favorites in this game. The total 6.5 shaded to the under. Let me preface this by saying that I like the full game over as well. In fact, I've got the full game over in my pocket in this game at over 6 minus 120. However, that number shifted up to 6.5, I think, in the last couple of hours. And once I saw that and I started to look into this game more and more, I decided to shift to, I think, what's an even better, stronger value bet in terms of the total for this particular Panthers-Bruins game. Now, a lot of you have heard people talk about the first period totals craze, especially when it comes to overs. Last year, first period overs were a huge talking point. There were teams that
Tampa,
put together
Chicago through December, January. It was catching the sports betting world by storm. Everybody, even if you weren't a hockey guy, wanted to come and have a piece of first period overs.
Exactly. Yeah, it's bang on. That's exact 100% right. I mean, you had people that couldn't tell you the difference, Sidney Crosby from Bing Crosby, all of a sudden showing up at the betting window and wanting to bet a first period over. So, it's one of those situations where, it just caught everybody's attention. People that weren't even a big hockey fan or watching hockey on a nightly basis were all of a sudden wanting to get involved in these first period overs that were just hitting at an extremely incredible percentage. Yeah. Now, it's cooled off a little bit this year, but I think we have a very, very, very good situation here with the Panthers and Bruins tonight to look at the first period over, 1.5 goals, minus 145. And if you see some of the games on a nightly basis in terms of where they are lined in terms of first period overs, we're starting to see games at minus 180. minus 200, and even some twos starting to pop up with first period totals. So when you can get over 1.5 at minus 145, I think that's pretty solid value. And then you throw in the situation we're dealing with these two teams coming into this game. We've got the Boston Bruins, obviously, in a little slump, their first prolonged losing streak of the season. Another loss Sunday night against the Philadelphia Flyers. They came on strong. They fell behind early, came on strong, tied the game, but they ended up losing in a shootout for their third loss in a row, I should say. Montreal, they lost last week, then they lost to Detroit, and then they lost to Philly. So it's 3 losses in a row for this Bruins team for the first time this season. So they're going through a funk. What does that mean? Well, it means when you're at home, you're playing a below-average defensive team, and the Florida Panthers are a below-average defensive team, that's for sure. And they're without Mackenzie Weegar, who has actually played a lot of minutes for them on the blue line this season. He's likely to not suit up tonight due to injury. This is a chance for Boston to come out of the gate strong, pounce on this Florida Panthers team, and find the back of the net. And I think they'll have no problem doing that. Of course, from the Florida Panthers perspective, we know they've got offense, to burn, so to speak. They've got guys that can absolutely score and find the back of the net. It is a very good offensive team. It's the defensive end of the ice where their issues continue to be. They win a wild shootout Sunday afternoon, 6-5 against the New York Rangers. But Florida, unfortunately, and people are saying, "What's wrong with Bobrovsky?" No. It's not what's wrong with Bobrovsky. It's what's wrong with the Donies playing in front of him. Because I'm seeing a lot of giveaways. I'm seeing breakaways being allowed by this Panthers team. That's not good. Odd man rushes.
We're seeing the last days of Quenneville in Chicago occurring here in Florida.
Yeah, we are essentially.
Yeah,
because Chicago's defense broke down, and really it hasn't gotten all that much better under Colleton for the most part. But yeah, under the last days of Quenneville, the Blackhawks team was just a train wreck in their own zone defensively, and that's the problem. They don't, other than Ekblad and other than Strawman, I don't know where the good, sturdy, steady, shut down, stay-at-home defensemen reside on this hockey team. I really don't. And that continues to be an issue for them. But they can score. And Boston's actually had some trouble lately giving up goals early in games. You look at Philadelphia, 2 goals against Boston in the first period. You look at Detroit, they pounced on Boston in the first period. Montreal pounced on Boston in the first period of that game. So they've been a little leaky defensively, even the Bruins. In the first period of these games. And then last of all, to conclude my analysis, you look at the recent form with these teams. Boston, 6-0 to the over in the first period, their last 6 games. I mean, 6 straight Boston Bruins games, there's been at least 2 goals scored in the first period. You look at the Florida Panthers, 5-1 to the over in their last 6 first periods, where they have had 5 of their last 6 games have at least 2 goals scored in the first period. So you put all that together, you can get over 1.5 first period, minus 145. I say that's value. I say that's a ticket casher tonight. Florida Boston over 1.5 first period, minus 145.
I like it. I mean, I usually say if you were looking at an over 6.5 in the first place. Well, I said this last year before we started seeing the really chalky first period totals. But if you're looking at a full game over 6.5, you might as well at least take a peek at the price on the first period over, and you see why the price is shorter. Because generally, if you need a game to go over 6 goals, you're going to need a couple in the first period anyway. So I do like the reasons you've laid out for it. I'm not a first period total guy, so I'll never take it myself. But I know it's like half of what I hear about when people come to bet hockey these days is first period totals. Yesterday I got asked about it twice. So I think if you're somebody who wants to specialize in first period totals, then specialize in it. And I know, Ian, you've followed it closely for a while now, and you will look at those lines as a part of your routine. And I think that's good. I think that's a good practice to get into. It's not something I do, so I don't have much to offer on this play, but I like the reasoning you laid out for taking that shorter price.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. And that's okay. That is fine. Like, there are a million different bettors out there in certain sports, maybe not quite as much as that in hockey. It's, not as many widely bet hockey like football or basketball, but everybody's got their own way and philosophy and things they look at, types of bets they look at, and the derivative markets like a first period total. Not everybody gets involved with those. You don't have to get involved with those.
But I think the point though that I'd like to reiterate is, if you're going to be betting first period totals, do it consistently over a period of time. Don't drop in on one game. I mean, this might be your first for our play of the day, but I know you bet them.
Yes.
But as opposed to somebody who says, well, last night, Washington was 7-1 to a goal in the first 10 minutes. And my only point was, are you betting every Washington game the first 10 minutes for them to score? Because if you're only dropping in on this one, you're maybe you hit it, maybe you don't, but you need it to consistently come in for it to be a long-term positive expected return. So
one last thing I'll say about this, and then we'll get to your play, is that once this total got up to 6.5, I looked at the game one more time, and then I saw the recent form of these two teams. And what did I see? I see a lot more goals in the first period, in the first 20 minutes of games with these two teams than second, third period.
Right, exactly.
Lately with these two teams. So that is why I thought, you know what? I think now the first period, and I was leaning first period over the whole way. I think now with the total full game up to 6.5, I think the first period over, considering that the goals have been more early than late in games for these two teams lately, is where the stronger bet lies, where the stronger edge lies.
Exactly. All right. Sorry, I feel like I've got a little tickle in my throat, but I will try to power through this.
That's all right. What do you got, Adam? Your play of the day.
I am on the Vancouver Canucks money line tonight. In my article, which should be up shortly, sorry for the delay today, but it should be up shortly. In the article, I mentioned that it's not something I'm actually that in love with. Sometimes for these play of the days, like getting the Islanders at Pick'em last week, and I can say, I really love the price. I love the spot. I think Pittsburgh's overvalued. Today, the model has the Vancouver Canucks at 54%, which gives slight edge to them. But it's nothing that I'm in love with, because we've got two teams, both Vancouver and the Predators, who have looked disappointing over the last stretch of about 10 days, 4 or 5 games, 6 games. They are losing against teams that they shouldn't. Nashville was the recent one against the Sharks on Saturday. I only caught part of that game, but again, I didn't see the reasons I was on Nashville. I didn't see come to fruition in that game. I didn't see that dangerous offense coming in waves, and they didn't capitalize, and they lost. Was it overtime or the shoot? It doesn't matter. But so I'm on Vancouver tonight as the slight dog at home. Their numbers are not that much better than Nashville. They have a slightly better power play, slightly better penalty kill. They're scoring less goals at 5-on-5, letting in slightly less goals 5-on-5. They're creating slightly more chances than the Preds, but the Predators are creating more dangerous chances. So again, marginal. It's depending how you see it. This is a game that can go either way, and I know that kind of sucks as a play of the day, but again, my philosophy for these play of the days is the most value on the board above 50%. So it's not something where I'm saying Vancouver is I'll never say this, but it's not something where I'm saying Vancouver is a strong favorite to win today. I have them slightly above a coin flip, but at home as a small dog, I think it was plus 100. I got them. I have to go with them. So it's I'm laughing. I was laughing as I was writing the article, because it was one where this is what actual hockey betting can be like on many nights, where you like a few plays, you like maybe a handful of plays, and it's not necessarily anything that you're like dead set on that ends up coming to fruition. My win rate on these article plays is kind of sitting about the same as my win rate for my all 300 picks that I've taken to start the season. So it's not like these play of the days are going to be every day is something that you're absolutely in love with. So that's where I'm at with the Vancouver play. Unfortunately, it's something I like, but it's not something I love.
That's the way I feel about it. I lean Vancouver in this game as well. Someone's going to get right tonight. Someone's going to get well because Nashville's lost a couple in a row. Vancouver's now in their first little prolonged losing streak of the season. I was very disappointed with their effort Sunday afternoon. Sleepy environment maybe. Early Sunday start against New Jersey. 2-1 loss. Their offense has disappeared. We were talking about how that offense was just lighting it up. The power play was on fire. Well, they're not scoring 5-on-5, and the power plays dried up a little bit the last few games for Vancouver as well. So it's two teams that obviously aren't really pleased with their recent form the last few games. So you expect good effort on both sides. But the price, Vancouver at home, who still has a above 500 home record on the season.
I think if you're going,
it's worth a look.
Yeah, exactly. I think if you're going value, which is what I do in 99% of the games I bet, Vancouver's the play here. Nashville, again, either I said even in the article, either team could come out and just smack the other one as well. That's why I'm not getting involved with the total. They're both teams that have been better in the league through October and have just sort of hit a little bit of a slump. You can call it maybe the spots that they're in. Vancouver had Chicago, I think on what was it, Thursday? Was it the back-to-back Saturday, Sunday? Yeah.
Yep.
I can't remember, but they just kind of got outplayed in Chicago, and then didn't come out
Thursday,
early
Friday.
enough.
That was the Thursday, Friday. Chicago Thursday, Winnipeg
Right.
Friday. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right. That's
Yeah.
what it was. And then both games, you kind of just looked at it, and it was like they just don't look that great. And then they came home and weren't ready to go against the Devils completing their Western road trip. So it is what it is. I'm not going to, as I said to somebody talking about the Carolina game yesterday, because they were saying, aren't you concerned? Ottawa had no problem shutting down the Hurricanes on Saturday. And I just sort of said, right. But again, if you replay these games again and again over the course of a whole season, how many times are the Carolina Hurricanes going to be given only one goal? And it's sort of, again, with the Canucks here, I think in this spot, if you played it 4 times, I would say they would win 2 or 3 out of the 4. And that's kind of what we're hoping for at the price we're given.
And that's why and exactly right. That's why it's your edge at plus 100 even money. The probability, obviously, that they'll win at this price and at the price that you're being offered with the Vancouver Canucks. So there you go. That is Adam's play. Vancouver plus 100 against Nashville. I'm on Florida, Boston. First period over 1.5. minus 145. That'll wrap up our play of the day video for this Tuesday, November the 12th. Thank you again for watching. We appreciate it. And those of you in the chat, appreciate you tuning in. We are back Thursday, November 14th, 10:15 a.m. Eastern for our next edition of the SBR NHL Double Play, the SBR NHL Play of the Day video. For Adam Booth, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Tuesday night. Cash some tickets on the ice, and we'll be back on Thursday for another Play of the Day.